Howdy folks, I'm Meet the Name, and today I bring you a new quick review. This time it's over Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. To start, Godzilla X Kong is a 2024 giant monster sci-fi action film that was directed by Adam Wingard and produced by Legendary Pictures and distributed by Warner Bros. Here in the US and Toho in Japan. To sum up what the film is all about, basically it takes place a little while after the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, when the two momentarily teamed up to take down Mechagodzilla. In the wake of that fight, Kong now lives down below in the Hollow Earth, away from Godzilla, who lives above where we all are. For a while, there's a balance to things. Kong has his adventures down below while Godzilla whoops various titan ass on his own turf. But things quickly change when a centuries-old threat is uncovered. Now, can the two titans put aside their differences and join forces to take on the dreaded Scar King and his army of evil monkeys? Well, yeah, it's in the title. The X means and. It's Godzilla and Kong, not Godzilla vs. Kong, although they do have a fun little fight scene in the film. Let's be honest here, this isn't Godzilla Minus One. If you are going to see an American Godzilla film, you really shouldn't go in expecting a complicated plot with fleshed out characters. The film is 115 minutes of boring human stuff and giant monsters punching each other. If that's the sort of thing you're okay with, then this film might be for you. But in the interest of fairness, I will mention some of the human characters. First, there's Rebecca Hall's character Dr. Andrews and her adoptive daughter Gia, who is played by Kaylee Hoddle. Of all the human characters in the film, of which there are only like 4 to care about, those two are probably the best. Rebecca Hall is giving it her all while talking about goofy Monsterverse jargon, and Kaylee Hoddle does a good job at pretending to interact with a giant monkey. Third up, you got Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie Hayes, who was alright. He's an audience stand-in character who is also a conspiracy theorist. He's the comic relief character of the film, I think, and for the most part he doesn't really hit the landing for me. And then there's Dan Stevens as Trapper, the Titan veterinarian and wannabe Star-Lord who constantly plays licensed music during his scenes and shouts, "Woo!" He was probably my least favorite of the characters. And if you paid attention to the marketing, you'll notice that barely any of it really mentioned or had shown these characters, because at this point we all get the picture with these films. No one's here for the humans, we're here for big monkeys and bigger lizards, and I'd say that this film has more monkeys than lizards. While titled Godzilla X Kong, it should honestly have been called Kong X Godzilla, because Kong is seen way more in the film than Godzilla was. I would say that Godzilla feels tacked on at some points, more of an obligation contractually than artistically needed. Of course, this didn't bother me that much because I already loved Kong. But if you are more interested in seeing the big G, you will be sorely disappointed. Continuing on, the CGI effects of this film were decent. At times, they seemed a bit blurry, but that could be due to the weird camera effect around the corners of the screen that seemed to slightly distort the image. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's really noticeable during the human-only scenes down in the Hollow Earth. Anyways, the film is heavy on the CGI, as I guess you couldn't do some of the things they did in this film with guys in rubber suits and cardboard buildings. What I really enjoyed were the environments in the Hollow Earth, which were visually very creative. There were also some really cool looking Titan designs in this film as well. If there's one thing you gotta give Legendary credit for, it's their own original creatures. However, I really do hope that in the next film they'll do another Godzilla character in their style. I'm hoping for either Hedorah or Biollante personally. Oh, and finally for the effects, I'll just say that this film had some really fun fight scenes in it. They kind of reminded me of the Showa era films with how goofy some of Godzilla's moves were. Now, do note that some fights are shockingly brutal at times, but fortunately most monsters in this film have green blood for some reason, so it's perfectly okay for little Timmy to see it so long as an adult is present. It is rated PG-13 after all. Up next, the music. For this film, the soundtrack was composed by Tom Holkenborg, aka Junkie XL, and Antonio Di Iorio, and I would say that it is relatively standard. There's some orchestral arrangements, synth tunes, guitar strings, you name it, but it just seems to sort of fade into the background of the film. Not to keep comparing this film to Godzilla Minus One like everyone else does, but if you want a memorable score, you should probably go to that film for it. So overall, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire is a pretty decent popcorn flick. It's got giant monsters that punch each other, and boring humans who don't really have much of an impression on the audience. If you're going to Godzilla X Kong expecting gut-punching emotional scenes, then you'll be out of luck. Watch this movie if you want to turn your brain off for a bit and watch the pretty colors and big monkeys fight. It's very much style over substance with this film, which isn't always a bad thing. We live in a world now where Godzilla can both be some of the most intense, heart-wrenching cinema out there, while also simultaneously being fun popcorn schlock that you can watch and say, "That was fun. I wonder what I'll eat for dinner after." It's not as Godzilla-centric as some would hope, but if you like a bit more Kong, then you are in luck. And before I go, be sure to praise Doug. He's a good boy. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Your continued support means a lot to me. If you like this review, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. With all that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathe.